I'm about to reveal the top 5 mistakes that first responders make when they're trying to stay strong on the job. So, the first mistake is that from the time that they come onto the job, they're working out exactly like they did before. So, not adjusting to the demands of shift work, to the changes of working day and night, still doing the types of workouts that they were doing while they were living a civilian life beforehand and not adapting or changing to the needs of the job. So, some of the factors are to think about is the extra weight of the equipment while you are working on the job. For police, it's 25 to 40 pounds, depending on what state or service you're in and what specialized unit you're in. We've got fire that's around 100 pounds, give or take. Although any of you that are fire, respond below if it is different. It's been a while since I pulled you guys. How heavy is your equipment? So if it's about 100 pounds and you're going on calls, even if a call is cleared, you still got yourself ready and you were still lifting that weight and getting to that call. So that is kind of like a hit circuit when we look at it. And for EMS, it really depends on the situation, depends on the size of the body, where the body is, if they're able to help you or not help you, if it's completely solid weight or they're able to actually assist. All of those factors are involved for you guys as well as to what the physical demands are of your job. Then we get into the length of the shift, having OT, how long you're awake for, if you're awake in night or day, the call volume. Some of you are at slower stations, some are at really busy stations where it's you're going from one call to another, which is, if we start thinking about it, it's like a hit circuit from another hit circuit and another hit circuit. And then for police, you have that equipment on all throughout your shift as well. So you're doing an endurance workout with a hit workout, endurance and a hit. And then we also have to factor in the sleep that you're getting. Is it a restorative sleep? Was it a long enough sleep? Even if you were able to restore your body, was it enough time to restore it, to get into that deep sleep, which heals your body, your REM sleep, which helps your body process for the new things that you've learned in your day, physically and mentally. So is your body getting that? And how stressed is your body? There are so many different stressors happening, and your body really can't tell the difference between, was this stress from mentally what happened in your day? Are there financial stressors? Are there stressors with your family? Admin stressors, and then all of the physical stressors. Was it a really tough physically, tactically shift? And so with that, we have to take so many different factors into consideration. And there are times where you would have normally working at 12 hours, even sometimes working at night with a civilian's job, because of the added things that we need to consider when you're on the job. Adjustments need to be made in your workouts so that you can continue crushing it and making your personal best. It's really important to understand that balance between rest and recovery, which leads us into mistake number 2, which is relying on coffee or energy drinks to not only make it through your workouts, but to also get through your shift. Now, I'm not at all saying that coffee is bad and you should never have coffee. But when it is one of those things where you need it, where you can't get going in the morning, you're waking with an absolutely empty tank. In order to get through a workout, you need a coffee, and eventually that gets to an energy drink, and then it gets into the double powered energy drinks, and your body is reacting less and less and less to those. You're not getting that energy that it is supposed to give, or you need it to even stay level throughout your shift. Then that is telling us that something else is going on in your body. And if you're going to go into a workout, if you're going to go into trying to stay healthy and strong on your shift and just keep adding more and more and more caffeine or energy drinks, we're ignoring a root problem. We're ignoring that your stress system is saying, hey, we're burning out. Hey, we need some support here. And when you're not listening to that support, then you start getting more injuries. As well, there's adenosine, which coffee, it blocks the adenosine. It's a hormone in your body that it promotes the release of calcium in your body, which is keeping your bones strong and is used in your body. It also affects your brain function and getting into a deep sleep, your cognitive abilities, your ability to think, which all of these things are important in staying strong on the job. So when we need to start really relying on that coffee, it decreases our ability to be strong on the job. Memory decreases, sleep ability, your recovery, injuries increase. All of these things start snowballing and decreasing the benefits. So yes, at the start or once in a while, absolutely. If you need a coffee, you need an energy drink to get through your workout or to give you that extra boost in your workout, that's fine. There are some studies that show that a coffee before a workout can give you certain benefits, but understanding when those benefits are good for you and when they're not. So, and understanding all of the signals together. Just because one study says it can give you these benefits, if you need to rely on it all of the time, it's probably not going to give you those benefits because your body is in such a stage of burnout by that point. Which leads us to mistake number 3. So thinking that intermittent fasting or keto is really great for shift work. Now, I hear this a lot with first responders where they are just so on board with intermittent fasting and keto. And yes, as soon as you start on intermittent fasting, it's taking away some stress triggers in your body. And that kind of balances things out because you're like, oh, stress triggers have gone. My energy goes up. You may start losing some weight and just feeling really good. But here's the deal. There are a lot of studies out there now on burnout and intermittent fasting, burnout and keto. There are studies that show how intermittent fasting and keto can be very beneficial for males. That's a big thing to note as well. It can be very beneficial for males when they are not in burnout. But if you are starting to show signs of being short fused, needing that coffee and energy, getting more injuries in your workouts, not being able to sleep, tired and wired, waking mid-sleep, testosterone issues, all kinds of things, gut issues, that's another thing with intermittent fasting and keto. When you're in burnout, quite often there's a lot of gut issues. And because a lot of foods that do tend to inflame your body a little bit when it's in burnout, when your body is struggling with energy, then taking those foods out, you feel that decrease of stress that we spoke of earlier. So some of those gut issues go away. It doesn't necessarily mean that those foods are bad for you. It just means that your body was in such a stressed state that it couldn't process them, or gut issues had arisen because of this long-term stress. And you're not fixing the problem of the gut. You're just taking away some of the foods that were irritating it, but not actually fixing the problem, so that when you can put those foods back in, they won't irritate you. So it's really important to understand when intermittent fasting and keto is good and when it's not. And they're showing with shift workers, with first responders, that intermittent fasting long-term is, especially if there's any signs of burnout, is not recommended. So there's a time and place. Usually in the first responder world, it is good at the start. but over time, it starts actually exacerbating the burnout symptoms. Also, it is hard to stick to intermittent fasting. Sometimes you go past the point where you need the food because of shifts, getting stuck in OT, being on special projects, depending on what you are in at that moment. What your service is like, you may not be able to eat when you need to. And depending on, there's certain windows with intermittent fasting, and you may miss some of those windows, which then puts you deeper into burnout. All right, that gets us into mistake number 4. So what we're talking about is the mistakes that first responders make that are definitely good habits. A lot of them are really good habits. A lot of them are things that you are definitely trying, but a lot of them are more for the civilian world and not necessarily for 911 lifestyle when you are working the shifts and all the different stressors that go with your job. So these are the top 5 mistakes that I do see first responders making that stop them from being strong in a 911 shift lifestyle. So number 4 is thinking that your body can sleep on any shift schedule as long as you're tired. And so this comes from too, when you are a civilian or civilians that are working, usually most of the time, they're on that 24-hour clock. They may go to bed later some days and earlier on others, but it tends to still be within a window in the evening and a window in the morning. So they're closer to some sort of a circadian rhythm where their body knows to stop the stress energy hormone when they're supposed to sleep and turn on their sleep hormones when it's time to go to sleep. So they should get that pendulum starting to go. But when you're working all kinds of shifts, your body eventually just doesn't know which end is up. So you could be so tired. You could be having this shift that it doesn't matter, IV drip of coffee, and you still are struggling to have brain fog and almost feeling like you're moving through a fog of cement to just push yourself through your shift, that you think there is no way, absolutely no way at all, that you're going to have trouble falling asleep at night. And as soon as your head hits the pillow, your brain starts going. Start thinking about everything. It could be about changing the tires on your car. It could be about finances. It could be about something great that your kids just did. It could be about a trauma call, a flashback. It could be about needing to buy toilet paper. It could be just this revolving. Your brain just will not shut off and you can't fall asleep. You're so tired and wired. You're like, how the heck did this happen? Because I am so friggin' tired. And the thing is that as soon as you get on the job, it's really important, or as soon as you learn, because I mean, my husband was a couple of years on the job before I started diving into this research and understanding it for him. So if wherever you are in your career, as soon as you know how to start teaching your body when it's time to sleep, so that your body, you're giving it a signal. So my husband knows when he comes home from night shift that there's certain supplements that he takes and there's certain things that he does that starts to get his stress energy hormone to realize, oh, it's time to shut down. It's time to leave that frontal lobe of your brain and start calming down. And your natural melatonin, your natural sleep hormone, knows to start kicking in. And when your natural melatonin starts kicking in, all of these other hormones start a cascade effect while you're sleeping, where they're healing and repairing, and you're getting into good deep sleep, which heals and repairs your body, and good REM sleep that processes everything from the day. So it helps you remember things for your reports. It helps you remember anything new that maybe happened on a call that will help you in another call. Your body can process those things, memories as well, things that your kids did. All of those things can start processing and remembering when you're in that REM and that deep sleep. And these things can't happen. Your blood sugars, so your metabolism can actually lose the weight. All of these things start kicking in. But if you have not taught your body, or you're not implementing the skills, and there's a list of them. If I was just to give you one, you'd be like, what the heck? This didn't do anything, because there's one that builds on another and builds on another for you to have the right skills in order to teach your body to know when it's time to sleep after a day, after first, second, third shift, days, evenings, nights, 24-hour shifts, whatever shifts you guys are doing, in order to come home and be able to get into a good, solid, restorative sleep where you fall asleep, you stay asleep, and you wake with your battery recharged. Okay, so that leads us to our fifth mistake. And for those of you that are just joining us, we're talking about the top 5 mistakes. This is the last one that first responders do make when they are trying to keep their body strong. As we've mentioned, these are no fault of your own. A lot of this stuff is newer research that has come out in recent years. The one that I spoke about with intermittent fasting, it's been the last year where a lot more research has come in. So if you have started or learned or started studying about intermittent fasting longer than a year ago, start diving into the newer research and you'll see what I was talking about how it's not the best for a 911 lifestyle. So diving into all of these, we're on number 5, which is using alcohol to de-stress or as a sleep aid. Now, I just want to give you a little bit of a story on this that I sometimes hesitate about if I'm going to even talk to you guys about alcohol, but I've kind of basically said, screw it, you guys need to know this. But my hesitation comes from even when I was starting this. So before COVID, when I was doing more speaking, more national, international speaking with services, I was speaking for a international conference of highly tactical unit. I can't give any more details than that because it was, we weren't even allowed pictures. I can't even talk about where I was or what I was doing there. It was very specialized with high up commanders. And as I was speaking about burnout, I was told before I went that the one thing that I should not be speaking about was alcohol. And this is the thing, is that alcohol is highly used for de-stressing and as a sleep aid for first responders. And the thing to really understand about alcohol is that it actually adds to your stress. It decreases your body's ability to recover. There are a couple of things that it does too. It is a sedative. It's not a sleep aid. So it will help you fall asleep, but that natural melatonin doesn't kick in. So it decreases your melatonin levels and decreases the ability that it's able to even kick in its reaction. So your natural melatonin doesn't kick in, and then it starts messing up your circadian rhythms. So you're not able to get into that really good deep and REM sleep that we spoke of. And when you're not in that deep and REM sleep, all of these other hormones can't go in. So you're not healing. Your memory, cognitive thinking starts decreasing, your moods and regulations, your metabolism, your ability to lose that weight, especially around your middle, decreases. And it decreases your testosterone and your sex hormones. So we may have less inhibitions when we are drinking alcohol, but we might find over time of drinking alcohol that you can't get it up or you can't have orgasms. Reproductive issues and stuff can start arising from them. It starts to really increase a lot of stress on the body. So using it as a sleep aid when it's not, it's a sedative, and using it to try to de-stress, it actually adds to the stress. Does this mean you don't ever drink alcohol? Heck no. But it's where coffee is as well. It's the time and the place, knowing when and where to drink it, and understanding that when you drink it, like make sure it's not when you're in the middle of a tactical operation. And that I see a lot where tactical operations, things like, let's say around here, we just had the trucker rally. So with the trucker rally, I know there was a lot of officers deployed. And I do know for a fact that during the evening, once they went back to their hotel, there was a lot of drinking that went on. Well, I don't know about a lot. There was drinking that went on. It doesn't take a lot, but they were already working 12, 15-hour days. And then they were decreasing their body's ability to get into proper REM and deep sleep to process what they saw during the day. there was a lot of new things happening and their body wasn't able to physically repair, and it becomes this snowball effect. So when you are on a tactical deployment of any kind, not necessarily the best time to be having that drink. But when you're back, when you're home, when you're recovered, you're on your days off, enjoy, absolutely enjoy. If you know that you have, if you know that your sleep is on track, you're out of burnout, and you know that your body is going to be able to recover from it, then absolutely enjoy it. But just understanding where alcohol plays that role in your body staying strong on shift. So let's just do a quick recap. There is not a one-stop fix for getting you guys into 911 lifestyle. There's so many different things beyond exercise and nutrition. When we are looking at exercise at your workouts, we need you to be able to recover from what happened on shift, so that you can crush your personal best. So understanding when to work out, when to recover is a huge key in you staying in key condition and you staying where you're making gains in the gym instead of starting to get injured or just hitting plateaus. Getting out of burnout and increasing your energy so that coffee is more of an enjoyment and not a need in order to get through a shift or to push through a workout. Adjusting your eating to support your needs of your body during the shift. So taking a look at intermittent fasting and keto research in the last few years on burnout, on first responders, start diving into that. Oh, what I didn't say as well when we're talking about intermittent fasting and keto is huge important is females. Females, all of the research that's been coming out, all of it, I haven't seen anything that is against it recently, is that full-fledged keto and intermittent fasting is never good for females. As with males, though, during burnout, never ever good. That if anybody, once they are out of burnout, their body is good, they want to do intermittent fasting and keto, there are modifications that females do need to make beyond the traditional, like the carbs and stuff do need to be up just a little bit for females. So definitely things to be looking into. And then helping your body know when to sleep on a shift schedule is so important because we're not in those regular rhythms, even if you're a 9 to 5. My husband is supposed to be a 7 to 3 Monday to Friday, but I don't know. He's worked every weekend for the last, we're in April, end of April, January, March, April, 4 months. I bet you he's had 4 to 5 weekends off. He's worked crazy amounts of overtime. I mean, he got home at 12:30 last night and went back in for 7 this morning. So Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 is never even a 9 to 5 when you're first responder. So you never are in those regular rhythms. Like it's all over the place. So making sure that you're able to give your body those signals of when it should sleep, when it should wake. And alcohol is really not the best for sleep and recovery. Knowing when to have it, when your body can handle it, and enjoying it when you do, absolutely go for it, but not when you're in burnout and not as a sleep aid. So there's so many layers to this. And depending on what stage of burnout you're in, depends on where your workouts can be, where you can be pushing, and what is all going on. So we've broken this down in our program into 3 pillars. In the 911 Lead Performance Program, we have you being 911 shift ready. We have a strong resting system and post-shift recovery. And being able to have all of those 3 pillars makes sure that you are really strong on your shift, that you can then last your entire career and have that time and energy for your family, staying strong, being able to keep yourself safe, doing all your tactical workouts, of getting into anything, your jiu-jitsu, without worrying about injuries taking you out, because your body's healing and repairing. And anything, I know CrossFit is huge for fire. So being able to do all of those things, but understanding how to adapt them to your 911 lifestyle. If you would like to learn more about how to stay strong on your 911 career, then comment below, or you can private message us, email as well, support at 911lifestyle.com. If you go to 911lifestyle.com, you will be able to contact us, find all of our social channels, and find out more information about us. Any questions, definitely let us know.